Hello, love. So do you want to be a talent acquisition baddie? Do you want to be a recruiter, a hire the best because I am the best kind of gal? Well, I got you because I'm a recruiter and I hire recruiters. So let's talk about this. I'm going to teach you how to transition into talent acquisition. So let's go. So if you don't know me, my name is Mercedes. I'm the Career Love Coach, and I get on here to help Black women really transition into careers that they love and pursue what I call career bliss. And if you don't know me, yes, I lead currently a team of recruiters. So I'm hiring, screening, evaluating potential recruiters and people who already have experience all the time. So what I wanted to do, I have so many clients that I work with that want to be in talent acquisition or want to grow within the field. So I figured it was good to make a video to help you all figure out how to advance using your transferable skills, whether or not you have any HR experience or any talent acquisition experience. So what we're gonna do is talk about how you can really build that professional brand. We're gonna talk about how you can identify your transferable skills and how all of that is ultimately going to help you become a recruiter or advance your recruitment career. Okay, let's go. I'm not a cheerleader, but I just did cheerleader things. Okay, that's fine. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, that's why I have notes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I forgot to mention that I'm actually going to give you a resource completely for free at the end of this video that's going to help you really go through and identify your transferable skills. We're going to use that document in this video, and I'm gonna let you download it for free so that you can transition. Like, I mean that, boo, you got this. So let's start with number one. The first thing that you need to do, and if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I preach about this all day, every day. The absolute first thing that you need to do is gain clarity in your career, right? If you don't know where you're going, then you can't identify your transferable skills, you can't identify what makes you great, and so you really need to make sure that you have an understanding of where you're going first before you launch your job search, before you start applying and complain that you haven't gotten any responses. I'm saying this with love, but this is really where it starts, and if you don't pause, okay, you're not going to get anywhere. I say this with love, I promise. The first thing that you need to know if you're not really familiar with recruitment, or maybe you're in one industry or field, is that there are actually many different types of recruiters, right? Just like in any other field, there are different types of specialties that people can have from a recruitment or talent acquisition standpoint. So the first one is that, right, you could be a general recruiter, right? I was recruiting for all different types of positions every single day. The positions that I would be recruiting for would change. That could be technical, executive, that could be administrative, service engineer. It could really just change and differ based on what was going on in the company, and I really like that because it offered me a lot of variety. But there are also recruiters that are very specialized in a particular field, so they might just do executive recruitment. They might do recruitment that's specific to an industry, and they may have been in that career or that industry for their entire career, like a career recruiter. There could also be, there's healthcare recruiters, like physician recruiters that are very specialized because physicians are their own thing. It could be more that you're a third-party recruiter, so you're in a recruitment firm. You could be a tech recruiter, right? You're really hiring those who are in IT, coders, developers, those types of things, systems engineers, all of those things. Or you could be a very process-driven recruiter, so you're not really actively going out there and finding candidates or things like that. You're not really a relationship person. You're just kind of monitoring the system, moving candidates through and kind of coordinating things. And that's totally okay too if you like process. Or you could be really more of a relationship oriented recruiter in which you're going out there and actively building like relationships and talking to people. And so there are so many different types of recruiters out there. So I'm telling you this so one, that you know that all recruitment positions are not made the same, so read the job description. And then two, I definitely need you to pick one. I'm not saying that you have to be a tech recruiter for the rest of your life. I'm not saying that you have to be an executive recruiter for the rest of your life, right? You can always change, but for the purposes of your job search, you really need to understand what is needed for a particular position a type of recruiter, and that's going to actually help you seem more aligned than others who may have general resumes when you're able to really tailor your materials that way. So it's really important, and I really hope that you take the time to get clarity first. Yeah, I put on my paper, no tailor, no interviews. No, it's not that aggressive, but really it's helpful, right? Okay. Also, I want to say, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. That's terrible singing, okay? I stopped singing when you subscribe. Did you subscribe? Oh, good. Okay, I'll stop singing. That's so nice. Okay. All right, so number 2, the moment that you've been waiting for. Like, okay, Mercedes, fine, you hire recruiters, whatever. Well, tell me the tea. Tell me what I need to put on my resume. And I'm not going to do that because there's no way to do that, right? It's no way to say exactly how you identify your transferable skills. Every position's going to be different. Every person's going to be different. And there's no one way to, well, I should say there is a process, but there's not like a magic button that you just press and be like, oh, I know what transferable skills I have now. No, I'm joking. I mean, I'm being a little silly, but really, you know, you have to have some time to critically think, okay? So what we're going to do is that I first need you to talk to me, and I need you to say, Mercedes, I have transferable skills, okay? Even if you don't think you have transferable skills, I 100% bet that you have some type of transferable skills. If you don't think that, schedule a call with me. I will prove you wrong, okay? Because everyone has transferable skills to any career path, and that's how people transition. And just because you haven't been able to doesn't mean that you don't have transferable skills. It just means that you're not recognizing what those are, or you're not packaging them in the correct way. So, okay? All right. Okay, so I got a little ahead of myself, and I realized, I was like, wait, I didn't even tell them what transferable skills is, because grammar is key. But, you know, if you are watching this and you're like, I have no idea, I'm starting from scratch, I've never even thought about transferable skills, I want you to know what that is. So, transferable skills are skills that you gained in one job, or it's a competency, knowledge, something that you learn to do in any kind of way that could help you in another position. It doesn't mean that it's the exact same thing, because it doesn't matter what position you go to. Like, a recruiter could go from this company A to company B, and they can be nothing alike, but they still have transferable skills. And even if you're not a recruiter, or you're an advancing recruiter, like you're going to a different field, or maybe you're moving into management or something like that, there's still transferable skills there, okay? So for example, right? Let's say you're like in a data management position, analyst, something like that, right? You're working with data on the day-to-day, but you are interested and working in recruitment. So what are some transferable skills that you might have, right? You might have skills working in systems, right? Recruiters work in systems all day. We have an applicant tracking system, and we have other systems that we use to find candidates. So boom, there you are. It might be that you're pulling reports and analyzing those reports, okay? A lot of recruiters have to go through and analyze reports about how we found candidates, the diversity of the pool. We talk about like where candidates came from, like the sources. We talk about the candidate pipeline of like how many candidates were at the top of the pipeline, how many moved through, time to fill, time to hire, you know, those types of things. There's a lot of recruiters that have to pull data and analyze that and present that. So that might be something that you have that's transferable. Maybe it's your industry, right? So maybe you're in a tech company, right? So maybe your understanding of being in data, or maybe it's big data, whatever, maybe you can use that skills to transition into another position or another company that's their thing, even if it's not recruitment. Like, all of those things are transferable knowledge that you have gained that you can use in another position, okay? It's just that. Okay, so before we go on to this last step 3, I want to hear from you. Like, was this like revolutionary? Like, did this help you anyway? Were you able to kind of identify some transferable skills that you didn't think that you have? So I want to know in the comments, tell me one transferable skill that you thought of that you have for recruitment right now that maybe without this knowledge you wouldn't have known before. Or if you were like, girl, I know that. I'm here for the practical stuff, okay? I need the paper, I need a workbook. That's fine too, but just tell me what one transferable skill is in the comments. Okay, don't be difficult. We don't do Karens around here. The notes are back. The notes are back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you how to identify your transferable skills. I have a list because I need a list, okay? And I promise you that it's way easier to do than what you think. It's actually, when you realize how this process works, jobs are telling you what transferable skills they're willing to accept or that they're looking for in a top candidate. And I say that, again, as somebody who writes job descriptions, screens candidates, and hires candidates off of transferable skills. And when I tell you that, I have hired amazing, fabulous candidates who have never worked in talent acquisition before, and they were fabulous. So that's all I gotta say. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to open up this document in a program that I call Notion. If you have not used Notion before, I 10 out of 10 highly recommend, okay? So I will put a link down below for you to sign up for Notion, and you can make an account, download my, or copy over my template, and then you can use this as your own organizational tool as you're going through your job search, okay? So meet me in the template. Okay. All right, friends. Let's get right on into it. So we are first going to start this process by looking for a job that is relevant, okay? So I'm going to go to the jobs tab on LinkedIn because I love LinkedIn the best, and I'm going to look for a entry-level, mid-level recruiter talent acquisition role. So let's do that now. Okay, so I went ahead and found one that I did like. I just went ahead and read through. It does have a good amount of content. So what we're going to do is move this over into the Notion template that I just mentioned, okay? So below, you're going to find a actual link to a Notion template, okay? So I'm going to show you exactly where that is. So you'll get a link. It'll look a little bit like this, and you'll see that all of my templates and resources are linked here. And then you'll want to go to the transferable skills template. Depending on when you watch this, there may be a few more templates there. But either way, you'll get access and you'll see this link. And then what you'll want to do is go ahead and click duplicate, okay? And then this is going to create your own page in Notion. If you don't have a Notion page or an account already, you are going to have to create one, okay? Cool. So let's go ahead and use the template from the assumption that we have logged in and created an account. Okay, so this is what it looks like internally. I'm going to duplicate it just so we have one for our purposes today. So we'll just do sample. All right, so what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to the job and you'll want to copy everything over. It's totally fine to copy things over. I think getting a full sense of that job is going to be helpful. I also don't think that you have to do this every single time you apply to another job. Of course, if there's key aspects of the job that's different or new that you haven't seen before, you can definitely add in some more information. But really, you want to do a great job at doing this at the start of your search so that you don't have to continually do this every couple weeks, every time you're wanting to apply to a couple new jobs, okay? So what we're going to do is actually read through and analyze this job description. So basically we want to understand what they're looking for in a candidate based on the job description, right? I did tell you that you can totally understand exactly what an employer is looking for by reading this job description, okay? I'm just going to start to highlight things that I think are relevant, right? So it says the recruiter will research, develop, and implement effective recruitment and staffing strategies. Okay, so I'm going to highlight that. You can highlight like this, okay? All right. I'm going down and I'm just going to keep highlighting as I go. Probably going to speed this up so you don't watch me highlight everything. Okay, so we have gone through the roles and the responsibilities, and we have more than enough content in here for us to be able to use that. I will say that you should definitely keep going through all of these other responsibilities and also add those, but for the sake of time, I am just going to use these. So to keep yourself organized, you're actually going to transition all of the different keywords into the chart below that we had, right? So the chart says job description KSAO, which is knowledge, skills, abilities, and other traits or competencies that are needed for that position. And down here, you're going to put what they're asking for in the job description. Then you're going to spend some time understanding what that KSO means, right? You may already know what they're looking for and what that word means, but if you don't, definitely do some research and learn more about what that means and put a definition here so you can understand. Then in this third tab, you're going to identify your own transferable skills that aligns with that KSAO. It does not have to be exactly the same. And then under star stories, you are going to talk about a time that you performed something or you had a duty, a particular story of a time that you really demonstrated that transferable skill, or if you've already demonstrated that skill, right? Specifically put a story there that supports that KSAO. All right. If the transferable skill is that you do have that skill, just go ahead and put it in the transferable skills, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move a couple of these keywords below, okay? So give me a minute to do that. Okay, so like I said, I am not going to fill out this entire thing, but you should, okay? That way you can feel prepared. You can know what your transferable skills is. They can ask you anything. You'd be like, I got this, okay? So let's start with this example so I can kind of share with you a little bit about what this process looks like. And then, honey, boo-boo, love, you can do this for yourself. Okay, so in this, I was working with a client for this, right? And so they wanted to go into employee relations. They had not worked in employee relations before. And so the job description specifically said this. So we copied this over to her chart. And then we went out and looked for a definition of that, right? So here's a definition that we pulled from Indeed. It doesn't really matter. Pull it from wherever. Put it in here. If you don't understand after looking for a definition about what that means, watch a video, go do some more in-depth research. Make sure that you understand this. The more detail and understanding that you have, the easier it will become to identify those transferable skills. Now, in her case, she had not been, like I said, in employer relations, but I asked her about a time that, she was creating a positive connection between management and the workforce. Tell me about a time that you were coaching or counseling other people, right? That's what it's asking for. And so she was able to say, well, I haven't counseled employees on behalf of the employer. However, I have counseled staff and students regarding their positions because she was in counseling, okay? Even though she had not done that from the setting of being in employee relations, okay? So she was able to kind of talk about how her counseling skills were relevant. And then when it came to her star story, right, she talked about how she provided that short-term counseling to help employees. She would, in that case, actually tell employees about the benefits that were offered to them, such as an EAP and other counseling that might have been available through the organization. And she did that for staff and students and teachers, okay? So essentially, she had an amazing, fabulous story that wasn't employee relations, but in my opinion, was very transferable. It was a great story, and whether that's in her resume or in an interview, would really set her up for success, okay? So for instance, for this one, it says research, develop, and implement effective recruiting and staffing strategies. So I'm saying, what is a staffing strategy? Maybe I don't know what that means. So let's go over to Google. And say staffing strategies definition. Okay. Better Team is telling me it's a human resource strategy to ensure an organization has a workforce it needs to meet both current and future business objectives. Okay. So I'm going to copy that. Thank you. Okay, we're going to copy that over. Thank you so much. Okay, and now I'm like, okay, I've not created a staffing strategy. I don't know. I haven't done that before. But maybe I have created a strategy to assess current and future business needs. So maybe strategic planning. Okay. Or maybe if you were in a situation where you maybe weren't in recruitment, but you were doing some sort of workforce planning, right? Maybe you were a manager and you had to be able to say, okay, I need 6 employees to be able to to be able to meet the needs of the company. So maybe you did workforce planning, right? In a different way. And so suddenly you have 2 transferable skills that you didn't have before, okay, that you can think of. And be kind of creative, right? Maybe you were an administrative assistant and you never really had these types of opportunities. We'll talk about a time that you made a plan to meet a need. Talk about how you may have been engaged in recruiting. Talk about how you may have provided administrative support, okay? There's so many different things that you can think about from a planning perspective or a staffing perspective that may be helpful. Maybe you ran reports, okay? So let's say reporting. Let's say administrative support, okay? I can't spell, but that's fine, okay? So suddenly I have all of these transferable skills. That's going to bother me. Administrative. Okay. Skills that you've now been able to identify that you have in your background, even though you may not have created a specific staffing strategy, okay? So you could say over here, right, you developed a strategic plan to address current and future business needs of the operations team, right? So that shows that maybe while you haven't done that in recruitment, you do have this ability to create strategic plans, okay? And what I like about this is that sometimes people are open and willing to hire individuals that don't always have that high level of experience, right? There's a lot of different values that this company has requested. There's a lot of different skills, okay? So really just go at it with an open mind and try and put your best foot forward for the skill set and the experience that you have, okay? So again, I don't want to spend a ton of time, but basically this is that exercise, and you would just go down and do this over and over again, right? So when you talk about maybe attracting a diverse pool of qualified and capable talent, maybe you didn't do that in recruitment. However, maybe you had to go find volunteers for a project or a special initiative, or just had to bring people together to collaborate. Maybe you had to identify people for that project, and it was a little bit like screening. You could have done volunteer recruitment, and it's still a transferable skill, okay? Maybe you're in sales, and so maybe you had to actually go out and recruit individuals to your company, or you had to go recruit leads, or it doesn't have to be recruitment in the sense that you're a recruiter hiring people, right? There's a lot of different things that you can recruit. The next one is process of the recruitment cycle, right? So maybe you don't have experience moving candidates through a process. However, maybe you've moved something else through a process. Maybe you were in project management, and so you had to learn how to move a team through the project management cycle. There's so many different things. So I just want you to be open and to think about it. But ultimately, this is what you do. And so I hope you find this template helpful, and I hope that this has really opened your mind to think about what different types of transferable skills you have. Okay, let's go on to the next part. Hey love, so I hope that you really enjoyed that tutorial with learning how to use that Notion template, learning how you can identify your transferable skills, and how you can just straight up find it in a job description, okay? And so I want to say that if you had troubles with this, and if you would like to really learn the process of, figuring out, analyzing a job description, figuring out what the transferable skills, highlighting your own transferable skills and like repackaging them to fit into that recruiter or HR mold, then I want to chat with you. I do career coaching, I do one-on-one sessions, I do full packages to help people transition into talent acquisition or other recruitment roles, but HR, honestly, I work with a lot of people, but I am in HR and I hire recruiters, and so I can really help with that guidance and help you understand how to make that transition. So I will also link below how you can schedule a call with me or learn more about my programs. I would love to work with you. I do coaching and I do mentoring, and I try and give it a range of options so that they're affordable and that you get to work with me. So also, any questions, just send me an email, okay? Okay, I don't know if you subscribed yet. I did say I was going to stop singing, but I just want you to know that all the other talent acquisition baddies have already subscribed. So I'm going to say, go ahead and subscribe. Okay, so before we end this and I tell you how to download my Notion template, if you haven't already commented about your transferable skills, definitely do that. But I also want you to know, or I want to know from you, like, what about this process was like an insight moment for you? Like, how was this video helpful? What in this process was particularly like insightful for you, and what will you do? Will you use the Notion template? Will you follow another strategy? How are you going to implement this today so you can make that transition, okay? It's bonus time. I told you if you waited until the end, I would give you a bonus, but I kind of already told you what the bonus was, but just pretend like you don't know, because that's what pleases the algorithm gods. They want bonuses, so you watch to the end of the video. Did you watch? Are you still here? I'm sorry, I'm completely unhinged at this point. But like I said, I hope that demo was really helpful for you. I hope that you got to see, exactly how easy it is to identify your transferable skills and repackage your skills. So like I said, you can download this Notion template for free from me, and you can use it. So go ahead, click the link below. Organize yourself in that document and then use that to identify your skills and write your resume bullets. You 100% got it, okay? Yes, and use my link below, okay? I feel like later I'm gonna be like, I'm not posting this. I'm completely crazy. No, I'm just kidding. It's because I feel cute, okay? But yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this video. And if you haven't already, make sure that you like this video, share it with a friend who's also trying to identify their talent acquisition skills or transition into HR. Be a recruitment baddie, okay? Share this video with another Black woman that could really use this support. As always, I really hope that, you can use this to really bring yourself and your career into alignment. Pursue a career that is really exciting and that fills you up. And I think that's the goal of I know that's why I'm here. And so I hope that if you have any questions or whatever, you put them below. But I'm wishing you much success with your job search and your career. Okay, bye! I've been doing cheerleading stuff. I was never a cheerleader, but I'm happy. Okay, bye.